You guys ever heard of organite or orgone energy pyramids? It reminds me of, you remember that one movie? What's that movie called? Small Soldiers? We are the Gorgonites. These things are like that. Stick around until the end of the video and I'm gonna give these things away. We all have our own personal methods and spiritual practices and ways of connecting or tuning in to that warm feeling that we call spirituality. There's no set in stone way for you to connect to yourself or to be more mindful or to reach levels of higher awareness or meditative kind of states. There's nothing really required. You don't have to be a Buddhist, you don't have to be a Hindu. These are things that are inherent to who we are as creatures and human beings. And because these things are natural to who we are as human beings, and it's not some kind of mystical state that lurks on top of some sacred hilltop somewhere. This is, no matter who you are or what you believe, we all have the capacity to become more mindful and to tune into deeper places within ourselves. I came up with this little list of things that I found improved in my life based on my consistency in my personal spiritual practice. And I just wanted to share them with you to see if maybe the same effects are being produced through your spiritual practice. So the first thing that I realized is that you start examining yourself from the outside. It's like you're outside looking in. You know, you don't see, you're not so much living in your thoughts, you know, because we live in our thoughts. We jump from moment to moment, attachment to attachment. You start to see the patterns that you're falling into instead of being overwhelmed with the fact that you're falling into a pattern. You know what I mean? When I find myself being judgmental to a situation or to a person, I can catch myself doing that now. Like a lot of the times, we're so lost in the judgment that we don't even realize we're doing it. We're comparing ourselves, or we're just critiquing some situation. And I'm finding that these days I really can see when that happens. Like I catch myself doing it, and in my head I can be like, you bastard. Like, why are you being so judgmental for? And I can call myself out on that. And that, you know, it still happens all the time. But I'm becoming more mindful of this pattern that I fall into. And you know, a lot of the time this is given to us. These insecurities are given to us. Society wants us to compare ourselves. So they've given us a narrative in which, you know, puts us in this dance with each other. But we can break it. We can break this cycle, you know, and we can be more loving and compassionate. And I think becoming more aware of this, becoming more aware of these patterns will help us, you know, will help us settle the waters of compassion. The second thing I realized is that when you start examining your thoughts from outside of your thoughts, that you become less reactive to people and to negative situations. You know, like if you find yourself in a situation where you're being judgmental because someone is being like an asshole or something, you know, your judgments might be justifiable. But the thing I started realizing when I've caught myself falling into these patterns of being Judge Judy, that I can just sort of, you know, I don't have to be so reactive. I don't have to be so reactive because I can watch myself, you know, I can just watch myself. Because as soon as I react, I kind of entangle myself into their karmic spider web. And then, you know, it's just two people lost in the sauce together. You start to see the way people behave as being a result of their circumstance, you know, of their life or of what they're going through that day. And it makes you less reactive. And that takes us to the next thing. The next thing is that when you become less reactive to other people, and I think that allows you to be more sympathetic. It allows you to be more sympathetic, and it allows you to kind of put yourself in their position. After you find yourself being less reactive because you are examining your thoughts from a new place, you can start placing yourself in the shoes of the person that you are being judgmental of, or the person that you, or the situation that you are being judgmental of. And you can see how you can just see why they're acting out. You can see why they're acting out, and by seeing why they're acting out, you kind of placed yourself in a space to where they can see themselves. You become a mirror to these people, because when you're reactive, that justifies their behavior. But when you just release your judgments and get to them on a real level, and be compassionate and just hold space, hold some kind of loving space, and let them work it out. Let them see themselves, be a mirror for them to reflect what they're doing back to themselves. Because if you're reacting, they're not gonna see the mirror, they're gonna see you reacting. So I think that there's something powerful in being unreactive and in placing yourself in other people's shoes. And also, for this is another thing I realized. Number 4. That last one was 3. I don't know if I said that, but number 4 on my little list of things that I've realized is that people seem to think that spiritual practice or that spirituality means some destination of sustainable happiness or something like that. And I don't really think that's what spirituality is. To me, spirituality, or what I've realized in my spiritual practice, and maybe this is just my own experience, but it's not about being happy or being, in some elevated state of complete transcendence. What I think spirituality is about is, and there is moments of bliss. There is true moments of bliss and true moments of transcendence, but I think it's about being in the middle. It's not about being happy if something plays out or being sad if something plays out. It's about being content with what is happening and allowing yourself to surrender to what's happening. Being happy means that your expectations are kind of satisfied, and being sad means your expectations were kind of unfulfilled or unsatisfied. So I think when you can find yourself just being sort of content, because content is not overjoyed, but it's just sort of this beautiful beingness, being content with what is. And then to bring back up the moments of transcendence, I think that the thing that people want is transcendence. This is another thing that the spiritual practice produces. You're going to find yourself having more and more of these transcendent moments. For me, it's not been sustainable. Just like that happiness has been unsustainable, sadness has been unsustainable. I always find myself coming back into just a beingness when I do my meditation or when I find myself really doing my serious spiritual practice. But in my normal life, I do find myself falling more and more into these transcendent moments. And I don't mean something psychedelic or something mystical or crazy or unexplainably insane. What I kind of mean by these transcendent experiences is kind of like, for example, when I'm like outside at nighttime, say it's a full moon, for example, and you're just sitting outside, or this is from my personal experience, I can look at a full moon and I can look at the stars, and then a couple minutes later I'll fly back to my body and just realize, like, I was just staring at, where was I just then? I remember looking at the moon, and then for a brief moment I was gone. All my problems went away, my identity went away. I just fell into this beingness of I was everything. I wasn't looking at the moon anymore. It was all just one thing happening. And this happens to me sometimes randomly too, I'll just be sitting in my room thinking, and then all of a sudden, everything just goes for a brief moment, and no problems, no happiness, no sadness. It's just this kind of no thoughts. That's what I think the transcendent state is. It's just a state of loss of thought, temporary loss of thought. And these moments seem to pop up more and more in my life. And videos does that to me, you know? I'll just start talking, and then 20 minutes later it'll be the end of the video and I won't even remember saying anything. So what do you think? Has your spiritual practice produced these results? Have you produced different results? I've never really had any kind of psychic stuff happen. I know some people say that they have different types of powers unlocked from their meditations, but I think on a basic kind of level, these are the things that I've experienced. Have you experienced these same things? Let me know in the comments, and maybe we can compile lists. These things were given to me by a guy named Ezekiel. Ezekiel is a subscriber, and he owns a company called Ezekiel's Healing Tools. So orgone, or orgonite, has a real crazy kind of mysterious, mystical history. It's the guy that discovered it claims it can do all kinds of things. It's really deep, but some of the basic things that it's popular for is being able to transmit negative energy into positive energy. If you carry these around you, or if you put them kind of in your space, then it amplifies positive vibes, baby. And you can get your own by guessing a number. I'm gonna give 3 of these away, all 3 of these away. You can guess a number 1 between 200, and whoever gets the 3 numbers in my head and Ezekiel's head that we came up with, then you guys will get this shipped to you. So leave a comment below trying to guess the number, and then you can get your own orgonite. So leave your guess in the comments below for your chance to win an Ezekiel Healing Tool Orgone Pyramid Positive Energy Amplifier. Let me read some of the other things it does. This is from Ezekiel's website. It says it improves relationships. Many people have gifted their homes or workplaces with these orgone generators, and they find that the relationships improve with their family, love life, and coworkers. You get vivid dreams. If you sleep next to these things, they're supposed to give you vivid dreams. And if you don't win, you can buy your own using 30% off code ORGONE at the link in the description. And it's also supposed to help you with spiritual growth. So if you are into crystal healing or orgone energy healing, this is the kind of perfect tool for you. So head over to Ezekiel's Healing Crystals. He is a homie that supported this channel, and it would mean something to me if you supported him, because it all comes back together. Your support with him helps support this channel, and you're helping a small business, and the world goes round, and then we live to see another day. My name is Dakota of Earth. Leave your guess number below, and leave a comment below also, and letting me know what some of the results that your spiritual practice has produced, or if you have also produced these same ones that I've found myself in. See you guys next time. Om.